everybody. Welcome back to Chortle Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Jake. With me, as always, the Stream King, the Far Cry guy, the Star Wars big boy, the King of Thieves, and the man who's been to hell and back again. And
haven't been back yet.
Oh.
Still trying to get out.
Steven.
Elysium's a kick in the balls, let me tell you. Hi, I'm Steven.
Speaking of Elysium, I looked into Disco Elysium, and I am interested in it. But I'll tell you what was my final turnoff was I had to get a PC or something to play it. So I'm sure there's a Mac version, but like I just mean like I'd have to play it on a computer, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah, not for me right now. It looks more like a Switch game. And I don't see it coming to Switch. So anyway,
it looks like a Switch game. It does, but
I think it would do well because any story-driven, simple to play game, I think just would work great on Switch. But anyway, that's not necessarily what we're here to talk about because this is Chortle Cast, the official podcast of Chortle Games. We talk about TV shows, movies, anime, video games, mostly video games, whatever the heck we want to talk about. We got a great show for you this week, an action-packed week of news. We're going to be talking about some of the announcements from the PlayStation State of Play, as well as some of the announcements from the 2019 Game Awards that all happened this week. And I know what you're thinking, but Jake, what about that Indie World announcement, Nintendo Direct thing that happened? Are you not going to discuss that? No,
I wasn't thinking.
We're not, because there's just too many things to discuss, and the only thing that I cared about out of that whole announcement was that Golf Story is getting a sequel, and it's called Sports Story, and that's really all you need to know, ladies and gentlemen. We are now caught up on the Indie World Showcase.
Normally, when you segue with, now you might be thinking, Jake, what about this? Normally, that transitions into a good reason. Like, why this? Well, let me tell you why. But you just went, well, Jake, why aren't we doing the Nindies? And you just went, we're not.
Because we're not. I thought you were going to say that I said that, and then that's the Nindies. That's all you really needed to know, okay?
Yeah.
This is me, your old pal Jake, telling you what you need to know about the Nindies Showcase. That was it, all right? It wasn't even a Nindies. It was the Indie World Showcase, which I don't know what they're calling them anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not in the loop. So we're not talking about it, all right? We're going to jump straight in because there's a lot of game announcements to talk about. We're going to talk about the State of Play that happened this past Tuesday. And we're going to just kind of go through this pretty quick. We'll talk about what was announced. And Steven, if you really want to dive into anything, or if I really want to dive into anything, I'll stop us and We'll dive into it. You stop me if you hear something you want to go further into.
Yeah, there are a few that I do want to talk about, I think, but I'll let you guide us along, and
I'm steering the ship. First thing out of the State of Play was that Untitled Goose Game is going to be coming to PS4 on December 17th. For those of you watching, that's tomorrow. So exciting. If you haven't played Untitled Goose Game, it's worth the play. It's very fun. It is brief, but it is endlessly charming, as IGN says. Spellbreak will be coming to PS4 in the spring of 2020. Now, I do want to park it here for a second.
Cool.
And talk about Spellbreak. Spellbreak is a Magic-based battle royale that's been in alpha testing on PC for a while. If you follow much of gaming Twitter, you've probably seen some clips at some point or another of people playing this game. It looks really, really cool. It has kind of a Breath of the Wild-esque game style, like art style. And basically, it's a battle royale, but instead of weapons, you have different magics. And so basically, you've got a right arm magic and a left arm magic. And you can get like fire and ice, or fire and lightning, or earth and lightning. And you combine those two elements. You can use them individually. You can go watch the trailer. There's all sorts of really, really cool looking stuff you can do with that. And so I have been keeping my eye on this one because I've been wanting to try it. So I'm excited to see that it's coming to PlayStation and I'll be able to try it out there. Almost pre-ordered a Founders Edition today, but then I decided that if it's going to end up being free to play, I don't want to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Steven, I know you hate Battle Royale, but are you on any level interested in that one?
We'll see. It's a cool concept. I do love magic systems in games, but at this point, Battle Royale games are so watered down and they're all the same that... And I don't like them, but I'd be willing to try this one.
Well, we'll try it together. We'll take that first step together, and then I'll honestly, I don't know how much of it I'll play either because I don't do a ton of that.
Right.
And then right after that, they announced the release date for Dreams. Dreams is coming out on February 14th. Yes, that's Valentine's Day, everyone. So get your loved one what they've been dreaming of. Dreams.
It's also my birthday.
Do you want me to get you Dreams for your birthday? Because I will.
No, I'm just saying that it's my birthday. That's all. It'd be nice if people would
care about your birthday
instead of thinking about their significant other, they would think about me for a change.
Wow, Steven, don't try your luck there with that. But no, Dreams.
It's not an easy birthday to have.
Dreams comes out February 4th. I might get you Dreams for your birthday, Steven. Would that be a good present?
I'll take it.
You'll take it. I'll take it. All right. So Dreams, they're coming out February 14th. They had a really cool trailer, just kind of showcasing a bunch of different games. The game's been out in early access for a while now. And so obviously a lot of people, and I think that was so smart now thinking it back about it, because there have been so many people who have already made hundreds of games, and game worlds for people to try when this comes out on February 14th.
I don't know if Kalen has continued work on his game for us, but Kalen had mentioned when Dreams Early Access came out that he was hard at work making a game for us.
Look.
So, Kalen, we're ready to play it if it's
I pre-ordered it. I will live stream it that week. You know what I mean? This is my thing. Watching this trailer, just watching it, I was like, I'm gonna get this. I'm getting this. Because, Steven, we did Far Cry Arcade, and that was a really successful streaming series for us. Basically, we took calls from the audience of, hey, what's your map in Far Cry Arcade? We'll play it. Send us the code, whatever. We'll do it live and see how that goes. And I know you and I had a ton of fun. I think our community had a lot of fun watching and submitting content for that.
And we still owe them
on a whole nother level. You know what I mean?
It is, yeah.
So I can't wait. And that will probably be, again, kind of an ongoing series where we just play dream games,
Yep.
I can't wait. I really can't. I'm excited about, talking about, early 2020. This is probably the thing I'm most excited about, just because everything else is coming in March. But, I've gone from, not hating Dreams, but, being like, what is this? Why is this? Why are they so excited about this? Now I'm
it's been so
through the roof on it.
It's been so randomly talked about because they talked about it a lot at E3 that one time, and then nothing. But it's just been weird the way they've handled it. I'm excited about it, but it's just strange because I feel like Sony hasn't talked about it really at all.
And I remember early on we wished they would talk about it more because we had no idea what it was. The way I've been telling people is oh yeah, it's a game engine. You know what I mean? It's a game engine that's built like a game. And people can just make whatever they want. So that's exciting. Moving on, subliminal? Is that how you say that?
Superliminal. What?
Subliminal? I don't think that's how you pronounce this word, but it is spelled superliminal. And
So probably superliminal.
subliminal? That doesn't sound right.
Subliminal.
Anyway, it's kind of a perspective puzzle game. It has very, it's got like some Stanley Parable-esque vibes. It's got some Portal vibes to me. It's apparently coming to PS4, so that's cool. They showed a PSVR game called Paper Beast, which looked interesting. I don't know if I just kind of zoned out during this part, but like I thought it was a weird choice to show, but I'm not incredibly interested in that one. They talked about the Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind DLC, which I'm really excited about. I did not realize it was going to be as in depth as it looks like it's going to be, and story heavy as it's going to be. So I'm excited to check more of that out. They talked about Predator Hunting Grounds, which is the Friday the 13th-esque game based in the Predator universe, where you can play as a predator. And it was really funny for me. I won't hark on this game too long, but Steven and Brody and I all have and Miles, we have a group chat where typically whenever stuff like this is happening and we're not live streaming, we're all like texting in that. And of course I'm watching everything on my phone, so I'm getting messages like over what I'm watching. And so I'm watching the Predator thing, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, it's that Predator game, whatever, it's fine. And they're going through, and they're showing, there are different classes of Predator. You can be like a hunter, you can be like a tanky one, whatever. And then they're showing all these weapons they can use. And as I'm watching it, Brody sends through a message. It says, oh, it's this stupid Predator game now. And as soon as he said that, I was like, yeah, stupid Predator. And I swiped that message up. And the next thing I see is the Predator pull out a bow. And I did the kombucha girl thing, like, oh, but maybe, yeah. So anyway, I'm not at all interested in it, but the bow happened right at that point. I just thought it was funny. They showed our first gameplay footage of Babylon's Fall, which was interesting. That's the Platinum collaboration with Square Enix. That I think it was 2 E3s ago. Yeah, 2 E3s ago. They just showed basically like a video of concept footage. I don't know if you remember, Steve. That was the year that Square Enix had like the worst show ever.
Yeah, they walked on stage and walked off. Yeah.
This was one of the things they showed there. So we got to see some gameplay of that. Now, Steven, I know you are a Platinum game fan. You liked Astral Chain, stuff like that. What is this? Does this give you? Were you at all interested in this after seeing a little bit more of it?
You're thinking of Brody?
You didn't like Astral Chain? I thought you and Brody were both freaking out about Astral Chain.
I wanted to get Astral Chain, and I looked up stuff for it, and I felt like I would really like it, but I never got to play it.
Gotcha.
Brody loves Platinum games. Mm-hmm. I think they did Nier. Nier Automata, which Brody's a huge fan of.
Yeah, this has very Nier Automata vibes.
Yeah. Which I don't know. It could be cool. They do action games incredibly well, so I'm sure it'll at least have really good combat.
Yeah. And yeah, it looked cool. So I'm excited to see more about that one. Then they talked about Resident Evil 3 Remake, which is also Project Resistance, which is a little confusing, but it makes sense. Basically, they're making a Resident Evil 3 Remake, and there is a multiplayer component called Project Resistance. But they announced Project Resistance first, and then now it is revealed that it's all one thing. But anyway, this was some leaked information, so probably a little bit of the punch out of this was taken out. I'm not a big Resident Evil fan myself, but Resident Evil 2 was up for Game of the Year, so obviously people really liked it. So hopefully people will continue to enjoy this. And then we got just a little taste of Ghost of Tsushima, what was to come in the Game Awards.
We'll get to that.
Which we'll get to. So are you satisfied with State of Play? You didn't stop me at all, so.
I never even watched it.
You didn't?
So,
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well,
because I was at a breakfast at the time, yeah.
For me, the biggest announcement was Ghost of Tsushima. So going to the Game Awards, and we're not going to talk about the Game Awards awards. We're just going to talk about the announcements at the awards.
Yeah.
Just in saying that, I will just quickly say, excited to see Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice be the winner of the Game of the Year. It's very exciting. Yeah. Glad it wasn't Death Stranding.
Interesting.
Feel Fire Emblem Three Houses was robbed. They did win.
It was
People's Choice Award, right? Steven, is that what it was?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they had a public vote where people on, I think, Twitter could vote tournament style for their game, like the Player's Choice Game of the Year, and Fire Emblem won that vote, which was really telling to me, and it was encouraging to see that like people haven't forgotten about that game. Like, I'm not the only one who thought this game should have been Game of the Year material, should have been at least nominated for way more than it was.
I think it is a crime it was not at least nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah, as it stands right now, it's my Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Spoilers for that.
I was about to say there's not a lot of time for something else to overtake that for you. But anyway, with all that out of the way, let's talk about the Game Awards. So, I don't know if this was the first announcement, but I'm just going to go down this list. I'm pulling from IGN, kind of a comprehensive list of what was there. Probably the biggest surprise, at least for me, was the Xbox Series X announcement, or I showcase, whatever you want to call it. We've known for a while about the Project Scarlet, which was the next Xbox console. Their naming structure is so just confusing to me, so I always end up arguing with people because I know what I'm trying to say, but it's just so confusing. The next Xbox was revealed at Game Awards. They're calling it Xbox Series X. It is this tall, almost PC-looking device.
It looks like a PC that someone punched kind of hard into the top to make an indent. That's the Xbox Series X.
The top is a giant vent, right?
Yes.
Trying to make the Xbox quiet and keep it cool, going to extreme lengths. I don't have like a list of specs, and I don't want to get into that because I just don't even understand all of that. What are your thoughts? Steven and I are not Xbox people, although I think, Steven, you're probably moving closer to at least a PC Xbox person because you're using a PC and are taking advantage of Xbox Games Pass as much as you can.
I built a gaming PC. I game on PC. So there's literally no reason for me to be excited about anything that Xbox comes out with ever, because Games Pass exists and they don't know how to do exclusives anymore. So, sorry.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the name, because it's stupid.
Next.
And that's what to harken on it a little bit. That's what was so confusing for me when they announced it. And like, if you watch the stream again, you'll probably notice that I was just very confused, because I was just like, are they really showing this is the new console right here? This is it? This isn't just some other thing like Series X? Like, why are you calling it this? And I've listened to some podcasters who were like, oh, they're doing Series X so that, when the cheaper version comes out, it can be Series S. And, potentially the next one could be Series A and D and Z and Y.
Let me tell you the real reason Microsoft's doing this. Microsoft is doing this because they want the Xbox gaming community to be an exclusive club. And that club, the way you get in is you have to convince You have to somehow make it to where your grandmother actually buys the right console when you send her to GameStop to get it for your birthday.
Part of the club, part of the initiation process.
That's the initiation. When 12-year-old little Timmy's just like, Grandma, I want the Xbox Series X for Christmas. And Grandma's like, okay. And she goes to GameStop and she's like, hey, my grandson wants an Xbox. And the employee's like, we've got the original Xbox, we've got the Xbox 360, we've got the Xbox One, not to be confused with the original Xbox, we got the Xbox One X, which is a little better than the Xbox One, and then we've got the Xbox Series X, not to be confused with the Xbox One X. Like, why are you doing this?
I don't know, man. It's crazy. All right, but stupid name. If you're an Xbox person, more power to you. The console from a performance standpoint looks like it's going to be good. It is prepared to do 8K, which obviously we don't even have 8K TVs yet, but like hopefully they're kind of trying to future proof for that when that is a capability. It's just a software update, whatever.
When you worded that
to fix that, so
the way you worded that was like someone negotiating, like, I'm prepared to go higher. Like, I'm prepared to go all the way to 8K if you'll purchase me.
We're prepared to go to 8K if that's what will get you through the door. But yeah, no, they're ready to go 8K. So that's exciting for you Xbox nerds out there. I joke, but I kind of am like, I need PlayStation to do a Games Pass type of system, or I'm going to be upset because I'm looking at the kids across the street and I see their cool toys and I'm getting jealous. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing, though. They don't need to because Microsoft is stupid. Because they just... If Microsoft kept Games Pass... And look, I'm saying this as a person who loves Games Pass because I use it. I've literally been milking Microsoft for all they're worth for the past 2 months for no charge, and I'm going to continue to do it for the next 3 months for no charge because Games Pass exists. But like, if Microsoft wanted to actually make Games Pass matter in the console side of things, they wouldn't have given us Games Pass for PC. So what they've essentially done is they've been like, hey, we've got this cool thing called Games Pass for all of our Xbox people. Which, gives you a reason to come play Xbox instead of PlayStation because you can spend less money on games. But hey, if you got a PC, which most gamers these days who companies want to milk for money have a PC. So now it's like you've made it to where you are literally killing your own competition. And now PlayStation doesn't feel the need to be like, well, here's why you want a PlayStation over an Xbox. Because that's already, like, honestly, but beyond it's where my friends are, there's literally no argument for having an Xbox over a PlayStation. None whatsoever.
There you go. Well, and this next thing might get some people to convert over to Xbox. They also revealed their first exclusive, I don't know if it's first exclusive, but a new exclusive from...
Is it exclusive?
Ninja Theory, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2.
Is it exclusive?
It is exclusive. They bought, Xbox bought Ninja Theory over the last year or two, I think. And they had them producing some multiplayer game. I've already forgotten what it was. It's one of the Fortnite type style games. I forget which one. I want to say it's the one with like it's actually Overwatch would probably be a better comparison. Kind of like the hero slasher.
I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember what it's called.
I'm pretty sure that's what they've been doing. But anyway, obviously Ninja Theory, they've done a lot of things, but really kind of came back on the map with Senua's Sacrifice, Hellblade 1, as just kind of a AAA game on a single A budget kind of thing. Brody and I did a whole playthrough of Senua's Sacrifice for Halloween one year. I really enjoyed the game. I really liked some of the choices they did. It being exclusive to Xbox is not enough for me to go back to it or like to go get an Xbox or anything like that. Again, an exclusive is going to come to Games Pass, so we could play it on Steven's PC if we really wanted to, you know. So
yeah, come on over, play it on my PC. It'll be on Games Pass. We all know it'll be.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, it will be. All their exclusives come to Game Pass first. So, anyway, exciting. I know Kaylin, one of our subs, is very excited about that in the Discord. Yeah, they did that. Then, just kind of going again down this line, let's jump into Ghost of Tsushima. They showed this later on in the show, but they had a 4-minute trailer. It was a full trailer finishing up what we saw at State of Play. The big reveal at the end that we got is release date of summer 2020. The trailer showed some cool stealth gameplay. It showed us the ghost of Tsushima and kind of told us what the story of that was, like how he became the ghost. The trailer that we have seen before, he was technically a samurai at that moment. And I don't know how much, Steven, you've looked into the game, or anybody listening, but like there's this whole thing of like there are consequences to being a ghost and there are consequences to being a samurai, right? Like the samurai can only do certain things, and if the samurai is caught doing ghost or ninja type things, like people will have a negative opinion of you, and there's going to kind of be this element in the game. So it was really cool to see what does full ghost look like, because we've really only seen kind of a samurai being half ghost. I'm so excited about this game. Like honestly, for me, the trailer was, like I said, I love seeing anything about this game, but for me, it was just like, I need a release date. I don't need a release window right now. I just need to know when I'm going to play this and give it to me. Like I'm so ready for it to happen. Was there anything specific you wanted to talk about from the trailer, Steven? Or if you haven't watched it, you just need to go watch it, guys, because it's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. Next.
I do want to talk about the release window. If you didn't have anything else you wanted to poke in, point out from the trailer. So summer 2020. On the live stream, we did a watch along of the Game Awards, kind of talking at the end. You were thinking May, right?
I not necessarily that I think it will come out in May, but May tends to be a bigger month for games releasing. Well,
so here's an interesting thought on that. Because I agree, if you talk about summer, like May is what most people, especially for games, think about. But Last of Us Part 2 is now in May because it got postponed. In fact, I think it's May 29th, so it's the end of May. So
it'll probably come out in August.
You think so?
I think so.
I'm holding out hope for July. So like Last of Us Part 2 comes out at the end of May. You have a whole month of space for that game to kind of have its moment. And then you come out hot and heavy again with Ghost of Tsushima. And then as soon as that game is out and done,
that's not what hot and heavy
we start talking about PS5. What does the PS5 look like? What is it going to be? And go from there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that, see what your thoughts are there. I hope we don't have to wait as long as August, because then that really is probably getting close to, well, I mean, it would probably still end up being 2 or 3 months from the PS5, but still, I just want to play this game.
Yep.
Just going down the line here, stop me, Steven, if there is something you want to talk about. Wolf Among Us 2 was announced. Just a quick...
I know a lot of people are excited about that, because that was one of the more well-liked Telltale series. And Andrew, my brother over at FFG, he's really excited for it, but I personally haven't played it. But that's good news.
It is great news. A lot of people were, I think, initially confused because obviously Telltale went out of business. But a company, I want to say their name is LCG or something like that, they bought up Telltale, the name, its properties, all that stuff. and they renamed themselves Telltale Games. So it's basically Telltale Games, but it's not the same people. They're bringing that back. I've heard from other folks that it is the folks who worked on Wolf Among Us 1, or they like brought them on, like contracted them on to finish this game. So
Right.
you know, it's going to be in the same heart with the same people. So hopefully it'll be good. We got the stupid Fast and Furious Crossroads game, and like,
I can't. I can't with that.
I hate that that's how they ended the show. Like, I've seen
Money talks.
I've seen some people talk, like, be real excited about it because they love Fast and Furious, and I totally get it. If you like that, obviously you're going to be excited, but like, it doesn't look good to me. You know what I mean?
It looks garbage.
It
Like by today's standard, it looks like a game like back in the Xbox 360 days when they would release a title on the arcade for $20. It looks like that.
Yeah. And also, was it Need for Speed or for Forza that added a story mode or something recently?
Need for Speed has been more about story. So you're probably thinking
I think that's who I am too. When this started, I thought this was that Need for Speed like story trailer. And then it wasn't until like way later that I realized, oh no, this is a completely new announcement. But like, that's not a good thing. You know what I mean? That's not a good sign for them. But anyway, they're making that. Vin Diesel came out on stage and talked about there's a 4-minute.
Didn't even say Groot. Didn't even say I am Groot.
No, I know.
What the heck,
He
Vin?
didn't know his audience. He also didn't look at the audience. So
Give the
that's,
people what they want.
Part of what happened there. We also got to look at Godfall, which is a new looter slasher, as the developers called it, which looked pretty interesting. We got
a huge Diablo or Darksiders vibe from that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It looks like it could be interesting. Looter slasher.
Yeah.
Obviously, I prefer melee over like gunplay, but just kind of off the bat, it being called a looter slasher just kind of already turns me off to it. Because obviously, I love Destiny too. But I've decided that I hate those kind of games because of how much commitment it takes. Like I've been checking out some of the Season of Dawn, and we're about to start the Dawning event in Destiny 2. And I've been looking at stuff, and I'm like excited. Yes.
Jake, that's because you decided to fall in love with the worst game when it comes to requiring commitment.
Maybe so.
Like all these other games, they aren't as bad as Destiny is, and I'm not saying it's a fault of Destiny's, because some people really like that, but Destiny is definitely the worst when it comes to a commitment and feeling like you need to be on it all the time, otherwise you fall out of relevance.
Mm-hmm.
But other looter slasher / shooters, most of them are not like that. So
Speaking of other shooters, Anthem is on sale right now for the PSN for like $10.
get it.
It's
seriously
super
get it.
cheap. It's good. It's worth it.
It's so worth
price.
that.
And I don't mean that like mean, but it's totally worth getting at that price.
At this point, you've all heard the worst. Like you've heard, oh, it's glitchy.
You've had the rest.
There's not
Now
much to do.
Or no, you've had the best. Now here's the rest.
You have the best. Here's the rest. Space
I
Destroy.
almost bought Outer World. Outer Worlds is also on sale. There's a big Game Awards sale on the PSN right now. Some games are up to 70% off. So like Plague Tale of Innocence, that game was nominated for some stuff. I went and got it. It's like $20 right now, 25 maybe. I almost did Outer Worlds, but it's like $45 instead of like 50.
Yeah.
And like, I just, for as much time as I know that game's going to take, I just don't know if it's worth it at that point yet for me. But anyway.
Yeah. But Anthem, real quick. I know this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It's not as bad as anything you've heard. It's better than the picture that the public has painted of it. I would recommend for that price, you're going to get a fun Iron Man simulator you can play with your friends. Like, that's sure.
That's really all you need.
You know. Next.
Moving on. Riot Forge announced 2 League of Legends story-based games, or
single player story-based games.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know a lot about League of Legends, but the first one was called Convergence, and the next one is called Ruined King. They follow different champions that you can play as in the game. Again, I just don't know much about that.
It's a neat concept.
Bravely Default. What?
Go ahead.
Oh.
I was just going to say, with the Riot Forge games, it's a neat concept because I know League of Legends is really well liked and they've got a lot of characters.
Right.
But I just can't bring myself to care because I hate League of Legends as a game on principle. Next.
Square Enix announced Bravely Default 2 as a Nintendo Switch exclusive coming in 2020. It was interesting watching this because we were just like, oh, is it this game? Is it that game? Is it whatever?
It looked like Crystal Chronicles.
It looked like Crystal Chronicles. It looked like it could have, turned into Octopath Traveler 2. So it was really, really interesting. But looked pretty decent. I'd like to hear more about it, see more about it. Might be interested in that. We talked a lot about Magic: The Gathering at the Game Awards this year. Both as just they were advertised a lot, but also there were some announcements. They announced Magic, just Magic Legends is what they're calling it, which is a brand new MMO set in the world of Magic: The Gathering. The beta tests for that are going to begin in 2020.
It's being done by Perfect World, which is not a good sign.
It's a bad sign.
We'll see what happens.
We got a trailer for The Weird West, which is being developed by Wolf Eye Studio, founded by the former Arcane devs.
Arcane, yeah.
It's an action RPG that offered a new take on the Old West. So it was basically the Old West, but with like a supernatural twist.
It looks like Hard West, but with more of a supernatural leaning. And instead of turn-based, it's like top-down action, like Diablo, which I think is really cool because I don't think we've ever gotten something like that.
No. So I'm interested in this one. I want to keep an eye on it. We didn't get any kind of release window or anything like that, but it looks like it could be really cool. We got a mind-boggling trailer for Dark Alliance, the Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, which is I'm sorry.
It's Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, I think is what they're going for.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
But it's the spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, which was a hugely well-liked action RPG from like the original Xbox, PlayStation 2 generation. And apparently this is going to play the same, where it's up to 4-player co-op. They said they don't know about drop in, drop out co-op. But it's going to be like a cooperative action RPG, which I'm all about that. But like, why did they do the trailer the way they did?
Basically, to sum it up, they had it basically looked like they had...
It was a chest-mounted GoPro.
Yes, like chest-mounted GoPros mounted on the
pointed
heroes
at the face
and the weapons. So like, there was one where like we were on the arrow of a bow and like we shot and we followed the arrow and like we spun. And then there was one time I remember in particular we were on the end of a sword and he hacked through some guy and we were like sideways going stuff. Like, it was wild. It was crazy kind of trailer, but some of the characters looked hilariously like silly when they were in that frame. Like there was an elf at the very beginning that just is like running and he looked really funny. Anyway,
I really hope that the characters aren't preset, Because I don't want to play as any of those derpy.
Surely not. Like, surely
people.
they understand that for that kind of game,
in Baldur's
they need
Gate,
to let people customize their character.
In Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance, and and honestly, in most games like that, you have preset characters.
Right. Well,
So
maybe.
I hope it's not that way, but we'll see.
My kittens are screaming and crying and fighting in my office. Get out of here. What? Children. All right. Moving on. 9 to 5 was announced. This is that really silly looking rabbit game that showed up first and then it ended up being something legit.
I felt attacked by that game.
You what?
Like, personally.
You felt attacked?
I felt personally attacked by that game. Because like, they baited me in the best way they possibly could. Because it just flashed on the screen. It was like from the creators of, or from the minds of, or something. Basically, someone who worked on this also worked on Max Payne and Quantum Break. 2 Remedy titles. And we all know how I feel about Remedy. And I was like, oh? And then, it went to the rabbit stuff. And it was just like,
Basically, it was a bunch of cartoon rabbits dancing around, and we were just like, what is happening? And then it goes to what I can only assume is the actual game, where it was a character in the game watching this, and he was like, what the F? And then it like showed like 2 seconds of the real game. Just a weird trailer in general. Anyway.
It's apparently going to be a new type of Arma game.
Right.
Like realistic team-based tactics, which I think is cool. But I'm probably never going to play it because I'm probably never going to be able to find more than 2 other people to play it with me.
Sorry. Then we got a trailer for Prologue, a new PlayerUnknown game. So PlayerUnknown, obviously,
Weird
PlayerUnknown
choice.
Battleground.
Yeah.
One would assume Prologue being a prologue to Battlegrounds, but it had this really kind of creepy vibe, like almost a horror vibe, or
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, looked very strange. Then we got a trailer for Sons of the Forest. The Forest is kind of a creepy game. This is a sequel to that. Got these weird humanoid monsters in it.
It's like a survival horror game, I believe.
Yeah.
With yeah.
It looks interesting. I've wanted to play The Forest for a while, just for like a spooky stream or something. But I just haven't gotten around to it. And this looked really creepy. There was a weird woman dancing in the forest in this one. It was very strange.
Yeah.
Surgeon Simulator 2 will also be coming to PSVR in 2000. Oh, no, not in 2019. Sorry. It was just shown. It was an interesting trailer. While we were watching it, I kept wanting to say, oh, is this Surgeon Simulator? But there was these characters that you kept seeing over and over again. And it looked like we were playing, I don't know.
It didn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense. So it was very confusing. But Surgeon Simulator 2.
It's apparently going to be co-op.
That would be exciting. Steven, we could do a co-op. We could be Dr. Dr. Steven and Dr. Jake. Yeah. Okay. I'm down. We'll do that.
Sure.
Okay. Another game called New World. This was Amazon Game Studios' new MMO called New World. Got this really cool trailer. Is
that the one with the Fountain of Youth, basically?
I think so. Yes. Yeah. It's very.
Yeah, that looked interesting. Like, it looked like an RTS because basically, I'm calling it the Fountain of Youth because it looked like, basically someone was searching for it and it offers eternal life, but it looks like the eternal life comes through servitude, through death of the fountain itself. And it went through like the different generations. It looked like an RTS, which is interesting, like a real-time strategy game like Age of Empires or something like that. but I'm wondering, like, maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm very intrigued by it, and it's good to see that Amazon is, making headway on what they're working on, because they're also working on a Lord of the Rings MMO, and we haven't heard anything about that yet. So I'm glad to see that they're delivering at least something.
Something cool looking. Apple Arcade's Ultimate Rivals, which was the hockey, basketball, soccer, neon, Rocket League type looking game, which I think some people were very excited about until they heard about Apple Arcade. So,
yep.
Take that as you will. Just some good stuff on Apple Arcade. Then we got Path of the Warrior, which is the Oculus Studio and Twisted Pixels VR beat 'em up game, kind of based off of the game Path of the Warrior. Steven, you were really excited when we saw that on stream, just because I think you called what it was. You were like, is this a whatever game? And then it started happening. So it looked a lot of fun. It's
VR, like non-PlayStation VR action games are really coming a long way. Like, there's some good ones, like especially when you look at things like Firewall, Zero Hour, with the PlayStation Aim controller. Like that stuff's great, and Blood and Truth was great. But if you look at some of the crazy stuff you can do with an Oculus Quest, with like first-person action games, it's crazy.
I hope PlayStation VR takes that next step, kind of like to get closer to an Oculus. I don't know that they will, but I hope they do as we get closer to the PS5. Then we got a trailer for Nakara Blade Point, which, if I'm remembering all this right, it was that Chinese... let me read this to make sure.
It's the one with the parkour and the samurai.
Yeah, it had it actually kind of felt very similar to some of the stuff we had seen from Ghost of Tsushima, just kind of like cheaperly done. But it was a PvP game where you're dueling people, almost like For Honor if it was based solely in China.
If it was an anime.
Or anime, yeah. So it was very interesting. We got a trailer for Mortal Kombat 11's Joker, which was weird because I feel like we already knew about that. We got Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3 DLC, the Phoenix.
Okay, let me talk about that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so we knew when they announced, when Marvel Ultimate Alliance was coming out, when they did the expansion pass, that we were going to get a Marvel Knights expansion, an X-Men expansion, and a Fantastic Four expansion. We didn't know who the characters were. There's been a lot of speculation on who the characters would be in the X-Men expansion. And the ones they went with were all of the X-Men from Ultimate Alliance 2, basically. Because you got Cable, Phoenix, Gambit, and Iceman. And that is awesome. Because Cable was great in UA2. He was one of my mains. And Iceman was great, too. So I am super excited about those choices. They're doing a Danger Room mode, which I'm not... Is there any information on what that is yet? Because I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, it looked like it's going to be some sort of challenge mode or something through there. Yeah. Wasn't there... I vaguely remember you saying when we were playing and you were kind of pitching it to me, you were like, oh, Jake, I want you to do this mode. It's kind of what they're doing to replace Danger Rooms from old, some of the older games. What was that? Was that the Infinity challenges or whatever? Or
it was either Infinity Trials or the Gauntlet mode.
Maybe it was the Gauntlet.
Gauntlet is one where you play a series of challenges, and as you go, it's kind of like doing a dungeon run where your health and stuff carries over with each challenge, and you see how far you can go.
Right.
And that's pretty fun. But I don't know. Danger Room could be interesting. I just love that game. It's one of those games that I can pick up and play whenever.
Right.
I just need someone to play it with.
I feel like that's how Steven ends everything. It's like, I just need somebody to play it with me.
Yeah, that's honestly how it feels, because I don't have much in terms of people to play with anymore, because everyone's off doing their own thing. That's fine.
We got a Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer, which continues to look good. We got a Gears
Continues
Tactics
to look like it's looked
trailer,
since the beginning.
which is basically XCOM.
I'll get it on Games Pass. Yep.
We got another Ori and the Will o' the Wisp trailer. I swear at some point that game was coming to Switch. Maybe it was just the first one.
I have no idea.
I don't know. But anyway, because I remember it being one of those things like, oh man, Microsoft and Nintendo are playing really nice together. But whatever.
Right.
Continues to look good. We had a trailer for Maneater, which is the open world shark eating game. We had an interesting announcement for the Respawn's Apex Legends Mirage Hollow Day Bash, which was a whole lot for a holiday event, if you ask me, but whatever. We got a No More Heroes 3 announcement. And
what a trailer.
Its trailer is just, what a trailer. Absolutely. It was off the rails. Started out with this.
It was like an episode of One Punch Man in 4 minutes.
Golly, it was something. It starts off with this kid and some like alien blob head that was named something like Fiona or whatever. And it's just this little art cartoon thing of like this kid and this alien playing, and the alien's like, Todd, I love you. And for whatever reason, the alien has to go home, and then it cuts to like a gameplay trailer.
15 years later,
where the alien
does
returns.
that whole thing, and then the alien shows back up. Yeah,
he returns, and he's like, Fiona, is that you? And it's like, Todd, I love you. And then, and I was interested. I was like, okay, what is this? Like, this alien just gave everyone superpowers. And then they were like, No More Heroes 3. And I was like, I don't know. So, but No More Heroes 3, everybody. If you're a No More Heroes fan, that's exciting. Travis Touchdown showed up at the end.
I'm not.
Let us all know what it was.
I'm not, but I feel like I should be.
You think you would like it?
I don't know. I haven't played any of the games. They haven't looked that interesting to me. But I feel like I might find some enjoyment in these.
Yeah. Well,
I might pick it up with this one.
You know, might as well. Due out sometime next year, so 2020. We got some I wouldn't say new footage of Cyberpunk, but just kind of an insight into some of their soundtrack and kind of how different sectors of the city are going to have different feel through music. And they had a bunch of artists up there. You know, I'm sure some of them are well known. I didn't recognize any. I'm just not in that scene very much. But super excited for Cyberpunk still. Can't wait to get into that game. Green Day was there. We were all like, why is Green Day here? They apparently had an announcement that Beat Saber now has Green Day DLC.
Beat Saber, yeah.
So, that's cool. I remember listening to the music. You were just like, none of this will work none of this is going to work great for Beat Saber. There's just not enough beats. But anyway, we got another trailer for Humankind, which is basically a kind of ripoff
Civilization
of Civ,
with create a character.
But there's character customization, so like you're creating your own historical character. So kind of forming the world to yourself. At this point, this Fortnite news is a little bit irrelevant. But the Fortnite announcement was that there was a Star Wars event that was going to happen the Saturday after the Game Awards. If you're watching this live on Monday at 7 o'clock p.m., you know that it's already happened. There was a clip that was shown. Yeah. People got outfits. They didn't talk about this at the Game Awards, but people got lightsabers in the game. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I saw the clip. It sucked.
The Star Wars big boy has spoken, everybody. We got another trailer for Warframe. Basically,
looked really cool.
It did look really cool. They had a new update that was out now for PC. And the Rising Tides update is now out for PS4 and Xbox One. So very cool. We got a glimpse at the Control DLC. Basically what they showed was, I believe it was called Expeditions. And this was free to all players. So if you have Control right now, you can download this and do these. And then they announced that the first of the expansion pass, the Foundation, I think is what it's called, will be coming out early next year, so early 2020. Very cool. Have you played any of? I voted for you to stream Control one of the nights this week.
Well, I was going to, and I was going to, but because I wanted to try the Expeditions, but I had this thought where it's just like I need to beat it so that I can go into Expeditions because I don't know what the requirement is. And then Andrew told me that Beat Saber had a new 90-degree mode.
What does that mean?
So I did that instead. It means that notes can come at you from anywhere 90 degrees in front of you.
It also does 360 then, right?
It only Quest has 360.
Interesting. Ooh, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that stream.
Hard.
That's awesome.
It's really hard. And and you need to go watch that stream, and you need to watch Overkill, because Overkill is the song that I like. It's probably my favorite song on Beat Saber, but I can't play it on Expert Plus because no one can. It's on Expert Plus on the 90-degree mode, and it's I died. I died. I was dead for a few seconds. It's pretty funny.
Okay. Well, anyway, Control, very exciting. Almost got Game of the Year. Almost pulled it out. What did they get? They got best
art direction. That's right. That was it.
Very good. Very good. We got another trailer for Elder Scrolls Online, and that's pretty much the end of the Game Award announcements. So pretty good. Overall announcements. I think everyone pretty much can walk away with something they're interested from there. I mean, we've just sitting here talking. We spent a lot more time on some of them than I thought we would. Obviously, I'm most excited for Ghost of Tsushima, and I kind of think the biggest thing was Xbox. Still blows me away that they would choose that moment to announce their console, and I can't decide if it's a good decision or a bad decision, but it's what they.
It was a bad decision.
They did. So, I'll now transition us into what we call catch up, where we talk about what we've been playing this week, what we've been doing. I've been incredibly busy. Last weekend, so 2 weekends ago, I shot 2 weddings, one on Friday and one on Saturday. So obviously that weekend I was very busy, but I didn't anticipate how busy it would make me during the week. And so I have not just yesterday or just Saturday afternoon, because I had to work on Friday and Saturday again. Saturday, I, for like maybe an hour, got to play Fallen Order. And I really hope I can beat that game soon before anything else happens, because I got Plague Tale of Innocence. I want to play through that. So I want to have time to play through some stuff. So I want to kind of get through Fallen Order. But anyway, I haven't really been able to play that much. I've been watching a lot. Been watching Mandalorian. Been watching My Hero Academia.
Yep.
Both shows. I'm killing it. Steven, are you watching this season of My Hero Academia yet?
Anna and I are waiting till we have a decent amount to binge. And what I typically do with that show is that I wait till the season has its natural divots, to where season 2 had the Stain arc, I think.
And so then they kind of finish out the rest of the season with a different arc. Yeah. Yeah.
Something along those lines. I typically try to do that with My Hero Academia, just because I get so hooked when I watch it that I would go mad if I watched it episode at a time.
I'm going mad.
And it's I'm sure you are.
I'm watching it every Saturday. As soon as I see that it's updated, I go watch it. And I love that when I first was introduced to the show, one of the comments I had to you was, I was like, none of this feels like filler, right? Like they are.
I've never seen an episode that feels like it shouldn't be there.
Right. Like it is all, they just go down every path and let you know every emotion and everything that's happening in every given moment. And it's so great when you can watch it all at once. When you're watching episode by episode, it is like so, I don't know. It's almost like, I don't know, it's almost painful because the little bit that you get is so good, but then there's nothing else. You have to wait a week.
Well, let me know when they get to a natural pause, like when they complete whatever arc they're in the middle of in season 4, and Anna and I will try to watch it. But I am caught up on Mandalorian.
This most recent episode, the one where he joined a team of.
Oh wait, no, I'm not. I'm behind one episode because episode 6 came out.
You're on the Tatooine episode.
Yeah, we watched that episode, and let me tell you, I still really enjoy it, and I still really appreciate what they're doing with it. But there is some really cringy stuff in this show.
Yeah.
Like there was a point in time when first of all, I'm souring on Baby Yoda a little bit because I don't mind Baby Yoda being there. I don't mind him being adorable. What I do mind is when they don't seem to want to do anything with him. He's just there to be cute and to draw focus in every scene. I saw an article about episode 5 that was like that is everything wrong with Mandalorian right now summed up into one sentence, and the article title was Mandalorian episode 5, Baby Yoda goes to Tatooine. Why are we talking about Baby Yoda? We should be talking about Mandalorian. Like, and I'm total, again, like I said, I'm fine with Baby Yoda being there, but just do something with him. Like that's an interesting concept. So let's go. But I think what they're starting to do, or I'm starting to notice that what I think they're doing is they are using this show as a platform to basically pay homage to various stories of Japanese culture and maybe some Western culture, because we all know that Baby Yoda and Mando is a reference to Wolf and the Cub, classic Japanese story. But episode 4, I think, the one where they go to the planet and Baby Yoda drinks the soup and they defend the village, that's literally Seven Samurai.
Right. Yeah.
Where it's the warriors who are trying to find work or whatever in the village who just wants to defend their home from the bandit raiders, and so the heroes and / warriors train the village and they fend off the enemy. That's Seven Samurai. So it's another Japanese story being told through this lens of Star Wars. So it almost seems like Mandalorian, it's episodic and not really telling a bigger story, which is kind of cool. It's an interesting idea, but again, Baby Yoda. But the episode 5, the mechanic lady, you cannot tell me for a second that she is not a character that wouldn't have been in the prequels. Like, and I'm not talking timeline. I'm talking like the way she's written.
Rephrase that statement. I think you had too many negatives there. I'm confused what you mean.
That the mechanic lady was written like Jar Jar Binks or another character in the prequels, where people are like, oh, the prequels episodes 1 through 3 are so bad because the dialogue's so bad. Anakin hates sand. That mechanic lady was really cringy. Yeah. And the way she talked to Baby Yoda was just like, this is not how I've seen anyone talk in Star Wars ever.
Right.
And I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying that there's a huge double standard, because people, let's be honest, Baby Yoda's Jar Jar Binks. Hear me out. While Jar Jar Binks was intended to steal focus through humor, Baby Yoda is stealing focus through being cute, but they both grind the plot to a halt. when they do said stealing focus. They're playing the same purpose, but Baby Yoda is just striking the easier note. So if you look at Mandalorian, it has more in common with prequel trilogy Star Wars than it does with original saga or original trilogy Star Wars or Disney Star Wars. Yet people love it. So either people are, dealing with a huge double standard, or people need to start realizing that they just hate the prequel movies because people told them to, and it's the popular thing to do.
Well, I totally see what you're saying, and I agree for the most part with what you're saying about the double standard. But I have heard this is what I've heard just on Twitter and just kind of general up to episode 4, which was when they defended the village. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, Mandalorian is killing it!" Right? This last episode in the village was pretty good, but not as great as that first 3 episode arc. But we see what they're doing. This is great. Baby Yoda. Oh my gosh. Can't get enough. Whatever. Most people came out of episode 5, the Tatooine episode, saying, holy crap, this just hit a rock. Like, most people have said coming out of that episode that, like, if this is what it's going to be, there are problems and we're going to have issues.
But I felt those problems in episode 4 as well.
No, I agree. And I think most people did. That's what I'm saying. Is like everyone said, oh, hey, that first episode 3 arc, that was great. Here's episode 4, not as great, but we kind of see what they're going to do. They're going to do kind of smaller individual stories. Like, we're on board. They come to 4, and that's when, okay, these problems really hit. And so I don't think you're the only one that's looking at episode 5, the Tatooine episode, and saying, this is bad. This is not where it's going. To make you feel a little bit better, Steven, the next episode is much better. I think it does have that problem that you're talking about of Baby Yoda is just a problem in the plot because they're not doing anything with him. Baby Yoda in the next episode... or really all of these episodes, episode 4 where they go to the village, Mando is basically trying to find a place for him and Baby Yoda to hide, and it doesn't work out. Every episode since then has been Mando trying to do his normal bounty hunter things outside of the guild and with Baby Yoda. And that's not working. Obviously in the Tatooine episode, Baby Yoda gets threatened. He ends it. They leave, whatever. The next episode that you're on where he's going to join a group of other fighters and they're going to go on a mission. The whole time, I'm just like, what is he going to do with Baby Yoda right now? There are 5 strangers on his ship who we don't know if they're trustworthy or not. Are they going to kill Baby Yoda? What's going to happen here? And I don't know. I don't think Baby Yoda gets in the way or halts the plot so much as you're saying. But I do kind of agree with what you're saying of if he's here, we need to do something with him. And so my frustration right now is why is Mando trying to live his life with Baby Yoda and continue to be a bounty hunter instead of I don't know, finding a Jedi, going to Luke or somebody in the timeline, there should be somebody he can go to because...
in this part in the timeline, Luke's Jedi Order probably would be towards its beginning because this is 5 years after
exactly.
Jedi?
And I'm not saying that, there should be a huge order, but to some degree, he should start to hear rumblings of, or even surely,
that the
surely
Jedi
people
are back.
knew about Luke stopping the Empire, right?
Oh,
so I don't know. The moment that Baby Yoda stopped the Mudhorn using the Force, and then after he decided, nah, I'm going to save this kid, I'm going to take him away, whatever. That's the moment that I would have been, I don't know. And who knows what the Mandalorian's really wanting to do or what his real motives are. But I agree with your sentiment of we've got this Baby Yoda. Why is he here? Are we going to do something with him or what?
I think my thing is, saying that he grinds the plot to a halt is probably the wrong way to word it, but he takes away all of its momentum, like all of a scene's momentum when he appears.
Right.
Because if like whatever's happening with Mando or whoever else, it's like, oh, there's Yoda. Oh, look how cute he is. He's like a little puppet. And it just feels weird. And I would love it if they just did something with the character, because that's an interesting concept. But they're it's not perfect. I still really enjoy it. I'm glad that they're doing it. I like it. But there's just a lot of inconsistency within the show. Like Mando himself, just super inconsistent character. Because when he spares Baby Yoda in episode 1 at the very end, when he shoots the IG-11 unit, you think, wow, that's kind of out of nowhere. But then you think about it and you're like, oh, wait, maybe he shot IG-11 because he didn't want to share the check. And that makes sense. But then for him to suddenly just be like, no, I'm going to save this kid. It just seemed weird. Like the Mandalorian we're dealing with now is different from the Mandalorian in episodes 1 and 2. And so
I didn't read him shooting that IG-11 unit that way. I viewed it as, once he saw that it was a kid, I saw for me, the moment he saw the kid and he said, wait, this is a kid. That was the moment he said, what am I doing? And so I think he shot the IG-11 unit to save the kid. And then and again, talking about consistency, where I find the inconsistency is when he took him to the Empire and actually turned him in. Like, that's where I was like, I remember watching that episode being like visibly
and that's,
upset.
And that's what I'm saying, is that like, no matter what way you slice it, he's inconsistent. Like, even if you try to explain, well, he did it because of this, at the next turn, there's something that's contradicting your justification of why he did what he did. So it's just inconsistent. But regarding the whole prequel thing, my thing is that regarding Star Wars, people seem to be able to enjoy Mandalorian just fine. That, like, and myself included, like, it's got flaws, but I enjoy it for what it is, and I appreciate when it does something well, and I don't turn a blind eye when it doesn't do something, when it does something poorly. So I'm just saying that, like, we should be so beyond this at this point, where saying the words like the prequels weren't bad movies or I enjoyed the prequels can be an acceptable thing to say, because I firmly believe that the prequels had a great story to tell. They just suffered from a couple missteps and it being a trend that everything about them is bad, which is just not true. And I think that Mandalorian should help us kind of see Star Wars can be cringy. Star Wars can be inconsistent and not perfect, and it's still okay, unless if it's the Disney trilogy, then it's just then nothing's good.
Wow.
But
anyway, that's what I've been watching this week. And Steven, you've been playing some games for a stream. What did you want to talk about?
Yeah, we talked way more about that than I wanted us to. And this will probably be the last thing we talk about, because it's going to segue into an announcement. I picked up Hades last night.
Did y'all go on a Tinder date, or did you buy him a drink first, or how'd that go? Was it on the bus?
No, we took a ferry ride.
Nice. Anyway, sorry, the game Hades. Is that what it's called? It's just called Hades?
It's just called Hades. So it's a game by Supergiant. And if you are not familiar with Supergiant, they did Pyre, Transistor, and most popularly, Bastion. I reference Bastion and Pyre. I don't think I played Transistor a whole lot, but I've got it. I just need to play it. I reference Pyre and Bastion especially all the time as being like just these games that understand what makes games art and have these just beautiful soundtracks. And I've been waiting to pick up Hades, but I've been hesitant because it's early access and it was Epic Games exclusive for a while. It's on Steam now, and I finally pulled the trigger. I was just like, you know what? I need a game to stream tonight. Supergiant is great. I love them. It's getting overwhelmingly positive reviews. So I'll pick it up and I'll play it. And holy crap, this game is so good. I am shocked that no one's done the premise that they did before, because it's centered around Greek mythology, but it's a roguelike. The concept is you play as the son of Hades. You are not Hades himself. Let me look up what his name was, because
Lovedes, son of Hades.
No, Zagreus.
That's what I said.
Zagreus. Zagreus. Yeah, it's Zagreus. That's what it is. So you play as Zagreus, son of Hades, and at the beginning it seems like you want to go to Olympus so that you can party with people like Dionysus, I think, or whatever, the god of basically like wine and indulgement or whatever. And so like it seems like he just wants to go party with his friends, and he's just like, Dad, just let me go to Olympus. I'm stuck here in the freaking underworld. Just let me go. And Hades is like, no, screw you, son. And so that's what the game seems like at the beginning. And so the gameplay loop, the roguelike gameplay loop, is as Hades, you go through the underworld trying to go from the bottom to the top through places like Elysium. What are the other places? Basically, all these different places in Greek mythology till you get to Olympus. If you die, you go back to the beginning. It's such a funny concept, though, because it's basically like Hades is just trying to get away from his dad, Zagreus is trying to get away from his dad, who's just a giant prick. And as you go, the upgrades you get that make the different playthroughs different are from the Greek pantheon. So you'll get a message from Zeus, for example. You might find that, and he'll be like, "Oh, hey, it's your Uncle Zeus. How's it going? How's it going, Zagreus? I hear your dad's being a big prick. Here, have a thunderbolt." And so like, it's so clever because the different gods have different aspects to their power that they can grant you. If you get abilities from Zeus, you strike things with lightning. Athena has the ability to deflect projectiles. Poseidon hits with water and pushes enemies around. So you basically create your build based on the messages you find of the different gods as you are proceeding through your run, to where I think my best playthrough, I had Aphrodite's blessing for my basic attack, so I was able to weaken enemies every time I attacked them. I had, I think, Zeus's throwable attack or cast attack, which means that I could throw lightning bolts, and like it's a really clever, and it seems like it's so simple. Like, it just makes so much sense. But the gameplay is really fun. The combat is hectic, but it's very satisfying. The story is interesting because it seems like now, like, I may have just misread into Zagreus trying to get out because he just wants to party with his friends, and I just think he wants to get away from Hades, because Hades is like
a giant prick,
emotionally, verbally abusive giant prick. Through story elements, Zagreus finds out that he was lied to about his parentage, about his mother. And so now it's Zagreus trying to find his mother, trying to get to Olympus to get to her. But it's so funny because they'll do things like there's a voice narrating when you find certain things, but it's a diegetic voice, which means Zagreus hears it. So when Zagreus, when you like rest, when you take a nap at the bed and you have a memory, the narrator is narrating it, And Zagreus is just like, shut up. I'm trying to be quiet. If I wake up Dad, he'll be really mad. But the narrator keeps talking. And the characters play off of each other so well. Like when you die, you come back at the realm of Hades, and you're walking out of the pool of blood, and Hades is just like, ha, stupid son. Saw you died there, you little prick. And so just it's so cool, like the way they do it, because it takes Greek mythology and it adapts it to this way that feels faithful, yet lands this comedic feel to it while still having a good story to tell. And I haven't even talked about the music yet. So the music, and I've been listening to it today after church while I was getting some work done before we recorded, as of recording this. I was listening to the soundtrack, and it's better than Bastion's soundtrack, and that is hard for me to say, because I've talked up that soundtrack to everyone. Basically, the concept, just to explain the soundtrack as a whole, because I haven't heard all of it yet. But what it seems like Darren Korb is going for, that's the guy who creates all the Supergiant music, is he's going for the duality that we find within Zagreus and Greek mythology as a whole. Zagreus has, his right eye is red like Hades, and his left eye is green like, I assume, his mother. Just like that, there is a duality to the music, to where it may start off in kind of a refined sound where you've got like maybe a harp or a mandolin, or some other kind of like instrument that makes you think of ancient Greece. But the whole time you might hear a bass guitar in the background, just like kind of rumbling. And then before you know it, out of nowhere, electric guitar and drums come in, and it becomes aggressive. So what I feel like they're going for is this duality of the gods seem refined at the surface, and the world seems like it's filled to the brim with culture, but through what Zagreus sees, much like himself, he is also refined. There's a lot of wrath and violence and brutality at every corner. So the music does this interesting turn where one moment you're just like, oh yes, Greek mythology. Oh, hello, Athena. And oh, there's Ares, god of war. What do you have for me? And then suddenly the music hits hard and you're in a combat scene. And it just handles, like, the music reminds you what you're supposed to feel in a way that's not distracting, and it just heightens the experience. And the way they use bass guitar, is probably my favorite part, because I used to play bass, so I'm a sucker for good bass music. But they use like a heavy distortion on it, and the bass is almost like the line between the refinement and the wrath. Where when you hear it, you know that everything's about to boil over, and we're about to go into the heavy stuff. So it's just a really clever way to further tell the story just through music, and it all sounds awesome. Like it's just good music. But there's also music in there that's diegetic, using that word again, which means when we hear it, the people within the world are also hearing it. Think Baby Driver or Guardians of the Galaxy. So Ashley Barrett is a vocalist who does work with Darren Korb a lot. And she's very, very good singer, has a very beautiful voice. She sings for some of these songs that are ballads that are sung by characters within the mythology themselves. So I would go into a room and I would hear this girl singing, and I found her, and she was like, oh, hey, this is who I am. Here's a gift. So there's a lot of music in the soundtrack that is like a ballad from the characters within the story. And Darren Korb does that a lot. But it's just, oh man, it's It's so good. I'm so glad I got it. Yeah, I'm having a ton of fun with it. I stayed up way too late playing it last night as of recording this, which is why I've probably looked really tired this whole time. I blame Hades. It's his fault.
Fucking Hades.
Yeah. Did you have anything you wanted to touch on with that?
No. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. I know when I first saw the trailer for it, and I don't even remember where I saw the first trailer.
I think it was the VGAs last year.
Was it? Yeah, that makes sense. I remember thinking it sounded like a game for you because that was kind of the year we had discovered you really liked roguelikes, so that was kind of a game style that you enjoyed. So I was like, oh, Steven would like this. And I remember it looking cool and interesting, but just knowing that in the long run, I would get frustrated with that game style, and I would eventually teeter out. Although I will saying that, it sounds like you probably have you made it to Olympus yet?
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah. So it sounds like
the furthest I've gotten is Elysium, and I keep getting my teeth kicked in by freaking Theseus and his bull.
Damn. Well, it sounds like to me, once you get to Olympus, like, not you will have, quote, beaten the game, but like obviously you could do runs again. And so knowing that, there is an end to this roguelite, makes me more interested, if that makes sense.
Well, a lot of roguelikes, the way they do it is that there is a clear end that takes a while to get to.
Right.
Neon Chrome is a good example of that.
Or I'm even thinking Wizards of Legend. You know, once you get to the final magician or whatever, you get some cool gear, and then you go back to the very beginning, and it's just do this again, keep doing this.
Yeah, a lot of roguelikes do that to where every time you beat it, a subsequent playthrough has something new.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's super replayable, and I've loved it so far.
Well, good.
Which ties into the announcement. I guess we'll go into that
in the wrap up.
We close it out. Graphic wrap up.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode of Chortlecast. We do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, there's a couple things you can do to help us out. Number one, if you're on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, you're already at chortlegames.com. You can leave a like on this video, share it with your friends. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitch, follow us, like the page. I don't know if you can do like the stream on Twitch. I think maybe that works. Anyway, be sure to follow us on both of those platforms as well. That just helps so you know when the show goes live, you can watch us. The show goes live now. We've got a new time slot every Monday at 5 p.m. Central Time. We're moving it to later so that we can live stream to all three of those platforms to get the podcast to everybody there. If you're an audio listener only, you can still hear us on Apple Podcasts. I'm debating if I want to start uploading those at 12 o'clock Central Time like we have been, but until I decide otherwise, I'm going to continue just uploading it all at the same time because I can schedule those, and those are easy. But anyway, you can also help us out by joining our Discord. You can get to that in the description of this video. It's a lot of fun. We tell you when we're going live. We sometimes put what we're going to play up to a vote in the Discord. We've got a great community that we're building. We have a great meme channel that's full of fun Baby Yoda memes, regardless of what your opinion is on Baby Yoda. And other fun memes, whatever. You know, we got a music channel, an art channel, like there's all sorts of fun stuff. So come hang out in our Discord. And then you can also follow us at Chortle Games on, at Chortle Games on Twitter and Facebook. But if you're watching us on Facebook, you already know that, so that's fine. And I guess I should reiterate that Facebook is at Chortle Games and Twitch is Chortle_games on Twitch. So anyway, follow us there, find us there. I'm sorry, it's very difficult and different to be promoting to 3 different places than one. I'm still getting used to that. Yeah. But anyway, this is not the only thing we do on the podcast on the channel. We have the podcast every Monday, again, 5 o'clock p.m. Central Time. But we also do some fun live streams. Typically, we live stream Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then occasionally some Monday and Wednesday. But this upcoming week, is a very special week because it's a forward compatible week, which is a series that we do.
That's correct.
Where we play an older game or a game that we haven't played in at least 5 years. It's typically has been Steven doing these, but it's a game that that he hasn't played in at least 5 years, and he basically replays it, talks about kind of doing a review live, basically. So he's going to replay through the game, talk about, experience it again with fresh eyes. Is it forward compatible to who he is today? And then at the end of this, we will be writing a review that will have a review video up the following Monday. So anyway, Steven, I'm sorry I interrupted you. What were you going to say? And then tell us what the game for this week is going to be.
I wasn't really going to say anything. I was just trying to hype man for what you were saying.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
But it feels like it's been a long time since our last forward compatible.
The last one was Force Unleashed, and it does feel like it was a long time. It wasn't more than a month ago, was it?
It wasn't exactly a month. It was probably like 5 weeks.
Yeah. Or
something. I don't know. But yeah, so really excited about this month's game. If you've been paying attention, you probably already know what it is. It's one of the I'll embellish in the preview afterward. But it's Bastion by Supergiant Games. It just happened to be a coincidence that I played Hades this weekend. But I've been knowing for a while that Bastion was going to be this month. Really excited to play it again. I've only played through it once, but it is one of those games that has stuck with me ever since that one playthrough. Mm-hmm. It's one of those games that just stayed with me, and I'm really excited to go back in. I feel like it's going to be an Alan Wake all over again, and I'm thrilled.
Well, good. I'm excited because I literally know nothing about this game. I have not seen more than a thumbnail image, and then even beyond that, I saw a loading screen today because I was testing something for Steven about. Supposedly it's free on iOS right now until 2020. So, if you're interested and want to play along, you can go do that, get it there. But anyway, I'm excited to see it too. We're going to talk about that. Part 1 of Forward Compatible, how it works, is we're going to do a preview of the game, and basically just a lot like the podcast, we're going to sit and we're going to actually record it right after this, and you're going to watch it right after this if you're watching live. Steven is going to just go through kind of what he remembers the game being like, stuff he loved about it, stuff he maybe didn't like about it, and just kind of preview. So you kind of have a what do they call it in science? I always forget this. Not a variable, but a constant. Control. So you kind of have a constant going into the live streams of this.
Control.
A control. Thank you. This is what Steven felt before. You may go in and see him turn on those feelings or embellish on those feelings. And then when you come back to the review, you'll kind of know where he was.
I'm glad to see that it's worked out the way it has, because Jedi Knight 2 and Alan Wake were pretty on the nose from preview to review, but I feel like Force Unleashed, I had a lot of surprises with that one.
You did.
And it's good to see that not all these games age very well.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with this one. But like I said, I feel like this may be more of an Alan Wake situation.
We'll hope so. But anyway, that's going to be the preview is going to air right after this podcast here. So stay tuned. It'll start a new live stream, but you will be able to see that on here. But anyway, that's it for this episode of Chortle Cast. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Steven, for your lovely commentary and hype manning.
Yep.
You are the best among men, and I appreciate you, even though I don't play games with you sometimes when you need me. Mm-hmm. I'm trying. I'm ready to do Monster Hunter. I'm ready to do more Monster Hunter.
Let's do it. Anytime.
Let's do it. You're the one over here wanting to do Bastion all week, so you know.
Okay. I can play a game before streaming a game. My life is not Bastion. Okay, it's a little Bastion this week, but there's room for other things.
I think you're overestimating yourself, and you're overestimating me and yourself. So I have time for one game maybe once a week. But anyway, All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in just a moment with the preview. And otherwise, we'll see you this week with our live streams of Bastion. Goodbye.
Bye.